I'm going to preview the number 15 Baylor versus number 7 Kansas men's basketball game, which will be played on March 2nd at noon on ABC. Baylor is 20-8 on the season, 9-6 in the Big 12, and Kansas is 21-7 on the season, 9-6 in the Big 12. So this is an important game because when you look at the Big 12 standings right now, those two teams are tied. The loser of this game will have 7 conference losses, while obviously the winner will still only have 6 and be 10-6 in the Big 12. So yeah, and I would also mention up front, I don't know if Langston Love is even going to play for Baylor. Scott Drew did say after the press conference, the press conference against TCU, that he was more like a game time decision at this point. And we all know it's an ankle. And Kevin McCullough for Kansas might not play because of a knee injury. It's not like a ACL or MCL or anything like that. Oh no. It's a bone bruise. He missed last time against Baylor for the same exact injury. Now, what are some players to keep an eye on for Kansas? Hunter Dickinson, of course. Number 1, 7 foot 2 inch, 260 pound center. That's a senior. 18.3 points per game, 19 for 57 on 3. So he can shoot 3, so get on him. 60 for 93 on free throws. 10.9 rebounds per game, 2.2 assists per game. 2.2, assists per game. 1.9 turnovers per game, 1 steal per game, 1.2 blocks per game, 2.2 fouls per game. And I'll put this in the outlook of Kansas men's basketball in the description below. Then there's KJ Adams, number 24, 6 foot 7 inch, 235 pound forward. That's a junior. 12.3 points per game, 0 for 3 on 3. So he's not really a shooter. 57 for 96 on free throws. 4.6 rebounds per game, 3.3 assists per game, 1.8 turnovers per game, 1.2 steals per game, 0.6 blocks per game, 2.4 fouls per game. And there's Johnny Furphy, number 10, 6 foot 9 inch, 202 pound guard. That's a freshman, 9.2 points per game. 37 for 99 on threes. 47 for 62 on free throws. 4.7 rebounds per game, 0.6 turnovers per game, 0.9 steals per game, 2.3 fouls per game. There's Deshaun Harris Jr. Of course, we all should know him by now. He's been in the league for a while. In the Big 12. Number 3, 6 foot 2 inch, 170 pound guard. That's a senior. 8.4 points per game. 25 for 63 on threes. 34 for 44 on free throws. 6.5 assists per game. 2.2 turns per game. 1.5 steals per game. 1.5 fouls per game. And this Nicholas Timberlake, which he has started in place of Kevin McCullough. Number 25, 6 foot 4 inch, 195 pound guard. That's a senior. 4.4 points per game, 20 for 74 on threes. And I get that's a bad percentage, but when you look at the previous years in the past, he has been a better shooter than that. So, yeah, I'm just saying. 22 for 29 on free throws. 0.6 turns per game, 1.1 fouls per game. And this is Marco Jackson, number 13, 6 foot 3 inch, 195 pound guard. That's a freshman, 4 points per game, 10 for 35 on threes. 27 for 33 on free throws, 0.4 turns per game, 0.8 steals per game, 2 fouls per game. And I'm only going to mention 2 other players. And it's Parker Jackson, number 23, 6 foot 10 inch, 235. Parker Braun. Not Jackson. My bad. Parker Braun. That's number 23, 6 foot 10 inch, 235 pound forward. That's a senior, 2.3 points per game, 3 for 8 on threes. 6 for 9 on free throws, 0.6 blocks per game, 1 foul per game, and I get there's somebody else ahead of him. But he hardly plays. He only played 7 games this year, so that's why I'm not mentioning one particular player. And it's Jamari McDowell, number 11, 6 foot 4 inch, 108 pound guard. That's a freshman. 1.8 points per game, 8 for 24 on threes, 13 for 15 on free throws. I'm going to say this across the board. Kansas is going to play ticked off in this game. I mean, they just lost at home for the first time in 20 home games. That's rule number one. Rule number two. I mean, not rule number one, but you get the whole point. That's the second point. Kansas is coming off of a loss in general. I mean, I'm just telling the truth. However, you should play ticked off against Kansas. It's not because you lost your last game. Oh, no. Not against TCU. It's because this same exact Kansas team beat you by 3 last time. Despite not having Langston Love, and you had 2 clean looks at the very end of the game. And we all know the officiating might be questionable, but you got to play through and be mentally tough. And you got to be tough, ball tough with the ball, too. I mean, you got to be the tougher team out there physically, and you got to out-hustle Kansas. That's saying point blank in the face right there, and get them in foul trouble while limiting your foul trouble. That does not mean don't play defense. That does not mean that at all. Oh, no. And you got to make adjustments on the fly. I'm not just talking about like first half to second half either. I'm talking about possession, timeout to timeout, possession by possession. I mean, on both offense and defense. I mean, that's the truth. Now, defensively, it's really simple. And not really simple, but it's practically normal for every game I know. You got to contain the shooters, contain the slashers. And I get Nicholas Timberlake has not been great from threes this year. But do not give him any open looks. I mean, I'm just telling the truth. You don't certainly want a guy that's been struggling from 3 all year and then go off on you. You don't want that to happen. Oh, no. It's the truth. And you got to limit the points off turnovers. You got to. And limit those second chance points. And points in the paint some. So, and do not let Kansas live at the free throw line. And I get Kansas struggled from the free throw line last game. But I expect Kansas to work on their free throws. When you look at the numbers from last game, you'll know why. It's simple. I mean, you got to make them uncomfortable on offense. Make them turn the ball over. I mean, obviously getting some steals, getting some blocks and charges would be helpful. And do not give them easy looks underneath the basket if it's a inbounds play directly under their scoring basket. And do not give them any clean looks in general. That's obvious. And I would try to limit Hunter Dickinson some. And I know Ease Missy did a good job on him. He actually outplayed him last time. But still, you got to limit him. And I would honestly dare to make KJ Adams shoot threes. I would make him dare. I would dare him to do that. But I know he's probably not going to. But still, you don't want to give him like a clean mid-range shot. If he hits it, he hits it. But you got to get on him. And obviously, got to get on Johnny Furphy. That's simple. And I know DeJohn Harris Jr. is more like a pass-first guard. But you can't let him get any open looks. He could score when he needs to. And as you could tell, they're not as deep as compared to the past. You could tell. And they're really missing Kevin McCullough right now. I know they are. So, now, and you got to get some rebounds. I mean, you got to get some defensive rebounds, especially after a really long possession. Get some defensive rebounds in order to limit those second chance points. You got to rebound the ball and win the rebounding battle in general. Now, on offense, we have to take care of the ball better than last game. And I get we won last game against TCU, but we have 15 turnovers. I'm just telling the truth, and obviously we need to get some points from the three-point line, but it's all about shot selection. I mean, it's the truth. and all this. Have good shot selection, and if nothing else, drive to the basket. Drive and get to the free throw line, and you gotta make your free throws count. That's that's another thing you gotta do in this game. And you don't want to have like illegal screens or anything like that. And I get some of the calls might be like, "Are you kidding me, ref?" That's literally nothing. But you get the whole point. And you gotta get some get some offensive boards, and get some second chance points, and be efficient from there on second chance points. Whether it's like a kick out three or kick out mid range shot or a putback layup or dunk. I'm just telling you the truth. But yeah, you got to get some transition points. Obviously, you want to limit that as well on defense. And get some points on turnovers, because sometimes your best offense is from your defense. I mean, that's another thing you got to consider in this game. And in all this. And another thing across the board, you got to stay composed. And try not to get flagrant ones or flagrant twos. Or a technical foul. Obviously. I'm just telling the truth about it all and all this. And another thing across the board, you got to start faster than that last time you were at home. I'm against a team like Kansas, and I get Houston's better than Kansas, I know. But you cannot be down so much too quickly, or even just right at halftime. I'm just telling the truth. And I'm just talking about across the board even. So, yeah. That's definitely another thing you got to do in this game. Is start fast or start good in this game. And like I said, I don't know if Langston Love is going to even play. But if he plays, he needs to step up some. But I don't know how many minutes he would get. And obviously, Mira Little, he's probably going to have to play some, if no Langston. And he needs to do his role. Same thing goes for Cal Bloner. And I know he's not much of a scorer. And I know he got 2 quick fouls and only played 2 minutes in that game. Last time out. But he's more like a rebounder, defender. Though, if he could get some putback dunks and layups, I'm all for it. And Josh Uzuwuna definitely needs to play a little bit better than the last game. Only 1 point and 4 rebounds. I mean, but some of the shot, but that 1-3 he took, it was like at the very end of the clock. He had to force that thing up. I'm just telling the truth. But hopefully he makes more close shots in this game. But he did have a steal. And hopefully Ray J. Dennis steps up and he could just do everything right what he did last game. Just cut down on the turnovers. I mean, that's the thing. And hopefully Jacoby Walter steps up like he did in the second half against TCU. I mean, 13 points in the second half. Come on. I mean, and hopefully Jay Nunn has this better shooting day. And I get he made 1 out of 3 on threes and 2 out of 2 on free throws. But, just in general, and hopefully he does not foul out. And Yves Misty definitely needs to step up, especially going against Hunter Dickinson in the post. And even on the 3-point line. I'm just telling the truth. And Jalen Bridges started really good last game. And I would love to see that happen again, or a great game all around. I mean, he had 15 points, 8 rebounds last game. So, yeah. That would really be helpful here. And like I said, this is an important game for Big 12 standings. You gotta get revenge over these guys. I mean, and you cannot take off for 3-minute stretches. That's another thing you can't do. I'm playing not great offense, not great defense. And if you're up and it's like 2 minutes or less, and clock's in your favor and you're up like double digits or something like that, or even like 8 points, just don't foul. The clock will stop. I mean, it's the truth, and then they score. And like I said, you got to take care of the ball better. And hopefully that defense that Baylor had last game goes into this game against Kansas. And obviously correct what you did wrong from last game to go into this game, and what you did right last game, go do it into this game. I mean, you got rebounded, chasing you by 12. I mean, that's the thing. And you got to play angry, ticked off. After all, they beat you last time, really close. And do not get trailed by. You got to withstand runs from Kansas as well. I mean, that's another thing you got to do. And do not try to get down by like double figures and try to climb back into it, because every time you've done that this year, more times than not, you lose the game. And hopefully we can make our free throws count while Kansas struggles from there. And you got to make your threes and have a higher shooting percentage than Kansas in general. And same thing goes for 3-point line as well. So, anyways, if you like this content, hit the like and subscribe button. See you guys later. On the road to 600 subscribers, of course, ultimate goal. It's 1,000 more, so make money out there. Of course, like the video, comment video, really helps YouTube algorithm so more people can see it. Sharing the video does help as well, so more people can watch. And if you're watching and not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. It's free, the notification bell as well.